What's up, guys? So we're gonna go over 1.3 synthetic division notes. And I know some of you know how to do this and some of you don't. I want to go over from the standpoint that you don't know how to do this. Okay, so if I go a little slow for you, great. If not, then fast forward or whatever, right? Okay, so what is synthetic division? It's an easy method of checking for roots and factors. It's a method of dividing a polynomial by a binomial. Okay, the thing is though, I have their notes. The polynomial must be in standard form. If a term is missing, use 0 as a coefficient. And I'll go over that right now. And the binomial must be in the form of x minus a. And I'll show you again what that means right now. So I'm going to go over what quotient means in a little bit, remainder, and is it a factor? Just right here. It says, example 1, use synthetic division to divide x cubed plus 6x squared minus 3x plus 2 by x minus 1. So we're going to divide, right? Okay, so we're going to look for the degree, which is the highest exponent, x3, right? So if you have x3, if you go in descending order from x3, then you should have an x2, you should have an x1, and then you should have x0. You need to have a value for each of those. And what do I mean? You need to have a coefficient, okay? So what is the number in front of x to the third power? And there's a 1 right here, okay? So then this is going to be a 1. Is there a number in front of the x squared? Yeah, it's a 6. What's the number in front of just x1? This is x1. The number in front of that would be negative 3. And then you need something at the very end that has no x at all. That's why you put x0. So is there a number by itself at the very end? Yeah, it's a positive 2. So a 2 goes here. Okay. Now, do you have to write these all the time? No. I mean, the more you do this, the more comfortable you're going to be, but I'll do it for some of them, okay? So you can kind of see where you might get confused or whatever. Now, you're going to divide that by x minus 1, okay? You're not going to do, don't divide it by x minus 1, nothing like that. Synthetic division is you make like a little half box here, and then right here, you can put a number in there. What number is that? Well, you look at this right here. What are you dividing by? You're dividing by x minus 1. Okay? If you have x minus a number or x plus a number, then you are going to just get the opposite of that number and put it in that box. So for example, again, this is just examples. If I have x minus 6, I'm going to put in that little synthetic division box, in this little box right here, I'm going to put a positive 6. Okay? And if I had an x plus 7 in that little box over there, I'm going to put a negative 7. Okay? On the flip side though, what happens if I just had to divide by x equals 1 or x equals 7? If I had to divide by x equals 7, then inside this little half box, you're not going to change the sign. You're just going to use that 7. Okay? I guess I should put an x here. Okay? So when it's written like this, just x equals, leave the number exactly the way it is. Don't change it. But if it's written like this, x minus a number or x plus a number, then you need to change the sign. Okay? Again, that's just extra notes. Our question has x minus 1. I got to change it because it says x minus or x plus, right? But mine says x minus 1. So from minus 1, put a positive 1 here. Okay, there's a positive 1 there. Now, the first step in synthetic division is the very first number you get there is like a freebie. Just bring it down, okay? And put a line here. And just bring that number straight down. So 1. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get the number in here and the number down there, and you're going to multiply them, right? 1 times 1. And what's 1 times 1? Well, 1 times 1 is 1. So put that number right here now. Okay? Now, after you've done that, in order for us to go straight down, how do you go straight down? It's plus. Okay? The reason over here you bring it straight down is because there's nothing beneath it. It's like a 0. Like 1 plus 0 is 1. Okay? So here, 6 plus 1 is going to give you a 7. And then you're going to repeat the process all over again. Okay? And you have a 1 and you have a 7. Multiply. 1 times 7, that gives you 7. And then again, how do you go down? You got to add. Negative 3 plus 7, that's going to give you 4. And then start again. 4 and 1. 1 times 4 is 4. Right? And then again, go straight down. How? By adding. 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay? Now, the last number is always a remainder. That's what it's called. It's called the remainder. So, over here it's asking me, what is the remainder? Well, the remainder of this question is 6. And then, underneath it, it says, is x minus 1 a factor? Well, if the remainder had been 0, then you could say yes. But our remainder is not 0. Our remainder is 6. So is x minus 1 a factor? I'm going to say no. Okay, so again, I mean, you make your own notes. So I don't want to make a note here and mess up your notes. Had the remainder been 0, then you can say that that is a factor. Again, one more time. Had the remainder been 0, then you can say it is a factor. Okay, now, what about the other 3 numbers? Or sometimes you have 4 numbers, right? What about the remaining numbers? In this question, my remaining numbers are 1, 4, and 7. Those are my quotients, or my quotient. Now, how do you get the quotient? Well, you come back over here and you look at this. In this question, the highest exponent was x3. Okay? When you do synthetic division, what synthetic division does is going to bring it down a power. So again, it was x3. After all of that work, it's going to go down 1. So from x3, it's going to go down to x2. Okay? So then this is going to be x2. That's going to be x1. And that's going to be x0 now. Okay? So what is your quotient? How do you get that number? It's going to be 1x squared plus 7x to the 1 plus 4x to the 0. Right? But that just looks weird. Okay? Because why? Well, we typically don't write this 1 right here. And we don't write this 1 right there. And we don't ever write x0. So how are you going to fix it? You're just going to write down x squared plus 7x plus 4. And that's what these 3 numbers mean. Okay? If you got confused, rewind the video and watch it again. But that's what I'm going to write down in the quotient spot. X squared plus 7x plus 4. And it's the same thing over and over and over the entire day. Use synthetic division to divide by x to the 4th plus 7x squared minus 4x minus 1 by x plus 5. Okay. What is my degree? What is the highest exponent? x4. So, since my highest exponent is x4, I should have an x4. And then remember, what's beneath x4? I should have an x3. I should have an x2. I should have an x1. And I should have an x0. I'm going to go look for those numbers now. What is the number in front of x4? There's a 1 in front of x4. So put a 1 right there. The next one should be an x3. Where's my x3? It's not there. There is no x3, but there should be. So back in the beginning, I said, right here, if there's a term missing, use 0. Since it's not there, since we don't have an x3, I'm going to use a 0. And then I'm going to look at x squared. Do I have a number in front of x squared? Yeah, I got a positive 7 in front of x squared, so 7. x1, it's right here. There's an x1 there. The number is a negative 4. And do I have a number without any x at all? Yeah, negative 1. I'm going to divide all that in my little box. I'm going to divide by x plus 5. But remember, if there's an x plus or minus, you need to change the sign, like I said over here in this part of the notes. Okay? So that positive 5 is going to change to a negative 5. And then we're going to do the process of synthetic division. You're going to bring down the first number, make a line, and start your working. Just bring down the 1, and then negative 5 times 1. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. And then you go down, right? 0 plus a negative 5. Same thing saying 0 minus 5. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. And then we start again. Negative 5 times negative 5. That's going to give us a positive 25. And 7 plus 25, 32. And then we got 32 and negative 5. If you multiply 32 and negative 5, you're going to get, I don't know, 160. Yeah, negative 160. And then if you add negative 4 plus a negative 160, that's negative 164. And then negative 164 times a negative 5. Geez, 4 times 5 is 20, 16, 18, 820? I'm pretty sure, yeah, 820. And then this gives you negative 1 plus 820, that's 819. So for sure, that's an ugly remainder, but hey, that's still the remainder. Remember, the last number is always the remainder. So over here, it's asking me, what is the remainder? I'm going to put 819. Is x plus 5 a factor? Heck no. I'm looking for a 0. If I get 0 as the remainder, then yes. Now, what is my quotient? My quotient is the other numbers, right? These numbers right here. So remember, the highest power was x to the 4th power. Synthetic division is going to bring it down a notch, right? So this is now going to be x cubed. That's going to be x squared. That's going to be x1, and that's going to be the x0. So how are we going to write it? 1x cubed, or just x cubed, minus 5x squared, plus 32x, minus 164. That is the quotient. There you go. Now example 3. Use synthetic division to divide x cubed plus 7x squared minus 10x minus 66 by x equals negative 3. All right, so highest power is x to the 3rd power. So that means I should have an x to the 3rd power. That means I should have an x squared. I should have an x1, and I should have an x0. So what's the number in front of x to the 3rd power? That would be a 1. So that's a 1. The number in front of x squared, positive 7. The number in front of just the x, a negative 10. And the number with no x, negative 66. We're going to divide that by x equals negative 3. Am I going to change it? No. Because remember, I told you, if it just says x equals, don't change it. It's already ready to go. I can put negative 3 inside here. Okay. And then we bring down the 1 and start doing synthetic division. Negative 3 times 1, that's negative 3. Then you add going down, right? 7 minus 3, that's or 7 plus minus 3, that's the same thing saying 7 minus 3, that's 4. 4 times negative 3, that's negative 12. And if you add going down, that's going to give you a negative 22. And if you multiply negative 3 times negative 22, that's going to give a positive 66. And if you add it going down, you're going to get 0. So here we go. Find our first remainder as a 0. So our remainder is a 0. Then can you say that x equals negative 3 is a 0? Yes. In case you're wondering, how come I say 0 here, but over here I put factor? because this one over here has x plus or minus, and this just says x equals. If it says x plus a number or x minus a number, then those are, like, both of these are called factors. Okay? If it just says x equals a number, that would be a 0. Just in case you're wondering, like, what the heck, sir? Why is it different? Okay. Then a quotient. And then, again, why is this important? Like, so why are we doing this? This is important because without a calculator, you just found out that on the x-axis, right, at -3, right here at -3, your graph touches it. Your graph is going to cross through here. Something happens there at that graph, at that number at -3. Okay, that's the whole point of doing this, so you can help get the shape of the graph without a calculator. Okay. Now, quotient. The quotient is going to be those 3 numbers, right? Remember, we started with x3. You're going to go down 1 power. So that if you go down, that's going to be x2, that'll be x1, and that'll be x0. So if you're going to write that down, it's going to be 1x squared, or just x squared, plus 4x1, or just plus 4x, minus 22. Minus 22. And there you go. That is the quotient. Example 4. Use synthetic division. Divide 2a cubed plus 5a squared minus 2a minus 15 by 2a minus 3. Oh, I see a problem, but hold on. The highest power is a3. So I should have an a3. I should have an a2. I should have an a1. And I should have an a0. The number in front of a3, that's 2. The number in front of a squared, a 5. The number in front of a1, a -2. And the number in front of, or with no a at all, that's -15. Okay. Now, inside the box, this is new. What the heck, sir? This is not x plus a number. This is not x minus a number. And this is not x equals a number. This is something totally different. How do I do this? All right, well, good thing I want to go over the question, right? We have 2a minus 3. You're going to do 2a minus 3. And you're going to set it equal to 0. Why? Because at the very end, once you do all the work, you're going to get a equals a number. And then I can use that number, and I can plug in that number inside the little box. That's the point we're going to do here, okay? That's the work. So let's do some work here. I want to solve for a. So 2a minus 3 equals 0. Plus 3 to both sides. 2a equals 3. Get the a by itself, so divide by 2. So now we have a equals 3 over 2. There you go. Now we have what you had over here pretty much in number 3, where I just copied the number. So a equals 3 over 2. I'm going to put 3 over 2 right here. And yes, it's a fraction, but don't freak out. You know what I mean? It's not that bad. Bring down the 2. 3 over 2 times 2. 3 over 2 times 2. What this means is pretty much do this. Okay, pretty much what you're going to do is this. You're going to do 3 times 2, which is 6. Then you're going to do 2 times 1, which is 2. And 6 divided by 2, 3. So 3 goes in the little box right here. Then you add, right? 5 plus 3 is 8. And now you're going to do 8 times 3 over 2. Or 3 over 2 times 8. So 3 over 2 times 8 over 1, right? Do 3 times 8, that gives you 24. Then do 2 times 1, that gives you 2. 24 divided by 2, that's 12. 12 goes right there. Add going down. -2 plus 12, 10. 10 times 3 over 2. 3 over 2 times 10 over 1. If you multiply those, you're going to get 30. 2 times 1 is 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15. If you add it going down, you're going to get 0. So 0 is the remainder, and then the other numbers are the quotient. Oh, it didn't even ask for the remainder. Okay. So quotient. The highest power is A3, so we're going to go down a power, right? So this is going to be A2. This is going to be A1, and that's going to be A0. I made those look like 9s. So 2a squared plus 8a plus 10. Is it a factor? Yes, because you got 0 as a remainder. Yes. Number 5. Oh, I remember these. A little bit of extra work. Okay. Use synthetic division to divide w to the 4th power minus 17w squared plus 16 by w plus 4. Then use the quotient to write down the factored form and get the zeros. So quotient, factored form, that's new. And then zeros, that's kind of new also, right? So what the heck? Okay. Highest power is W4, so I should have a W4. Then I should have a W3. Then I should have a W squared. Then a W1. And a W0. I should have a number for all of those. The number in front of W4, that's going to give me a 1. W3, there is no W3, that's a 0. W2, I got a negative 17, so a negative 17. A W1, I don't have a W1, so that's another 0. And then W0, just the number with no W, so 16. We're going to divide that by W plus 4. So what goes in my little box? Since it says W plus 4, we're going to change the W plus 4 to a W equals a negative 4, right? So just the negative 4 now. Change the sign. And then let's do the work. Negative 4 times 1, that's negative 4. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 will give me a positive 16. Negative 17 plus 16, negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 4, that's a positive 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 times negative 4, negative 16. And that will give me a 0. So real quick, what does that even mean? Since I got a 0, then I'm able to say that W plus 4 is a factor. Okay, I know that for a fact because I got 0. See, so see the W plus 4 right there? I know that's a factor. Got it. I have 1. Yay. I also know that negative 4 is a 0. What? No, don't do that. Negative 4 is a 0. How do I know? Because change the sign from positive 4 to negative 4. Okay. So I know some of the answer already. The quotient I can get right now. The quotient is these numbers. Right, so W4 goes down to a W3, then W2, W1, and W0. So 1 W3, so just W3, minus 4W squared, minus W, and then plus 4. Now, what I'm missing now is the rest of my factored form and the rest of my zeros. That's what I'm missing here. How do we do it? I gotta use the quotient. Okay, and we went over this in the other notes the other day we did, in 1.2 notes. we're going to be doing this. I want to say, oh, this part right here. Okay, so 1.2 nodes. Okay, so what we're going to do here, in case you forgot, we'll just do it right now. When I have W to the third power, we're going to break it apart, right? I'm going to do these two and these two. So from the blue part, what can I take out? I can take out a W squared from both of those. What's left out? What's left over if I take out a W2? If I take out a W2 from here, I have one W left over. Minus sign. If I take out a W2 from there, I only have a 4 left. Now remember, that's very important because I now have to make a W minus 4 over here. Right? I don't got a choice. Now, I can almost take it out. But if you notice, this is a negative W, and that's a positive W. And that's a positive 4, but I need a negative 4. So what do? They divided by negative 1. So they took out a negative 1. Okay, and again, if you were to do negative 1 times W, you get negative W. If you do negative 1 times negative 4, you get positive 4. Okay, so now what am I going to do? I'm going to factor this. And when I factor, I'm going to combine the things that are the same, right? Which is this W minus 4. So I'm going to put a W minus 4. I'm going to factor it out, put it in the front. And then what's left? The W squared minus 1. Okay. Now this W minus 4, it's ready to go. I can put it right here. And then I can change that minus 4 to a positive 4 for the zeros. Now, technically, what I have there in blue, this is okay. I can write that down over there, okay? But this is the difference of two squares. Because I can take the square root of both of them. So this is W plus 1. Because the square root of 1 is 1 and negative 1. Those are my other two factors, the last two I needed. My bad, minus 1. So a positive 4 turned to a negative 4. A negative 4 turned to a positive 4. Positive 1 is going to turn to a negative 1. And a negative 1 turns to a positive 1. And those are my factors. And my zeros, for that matter. I got them all. If I lost you somewhere, please go back, watch the video, or ask me in class, okay? I finished? Yeah. Okay, next part. Number 6, last question. Use synthetic division to determine the quotient, then use the quotient to write down the factored form and find the zeros. Okay? Now this is written differently, what the heck? But it's written differently, yes, but you still can do the exact same work. Because what does this say? It says 3x cubed minus 2x squared minus 32x minus 32, and then this is just a big old division sign, right? Divided by x minus 4. So what is my highest power? My highest power is x3. So x3. That means I should have an x3, I should have an x2, I should have an x1, and I should have an x0. That's what it means. The number in front of x3, that's a 3. In front of x squared, negative 2. In front of x, negative 32. Then in front of just with no x at all, negative 32. I'm going to divide that by x minus 4. But remember, we're not going to use x minus 4 because that's not in the proper way. You're going to change it so it can be x equals a positive 4, right? We're going to change the sign. So 4 goes right here. Now we'll do synthetic division. That's a 3. 4 times 3 will give me 12. Negative 2 plus 12, that'll give me 10. 10 times 4 gives me 40. Negative 32 plus 40 gives me 8. And 8 times 40, or 8 times 4 is 32. A positive 32. And negative 32 plus 32 is 0. So what does that mean? But right away, that means that I know that x minus 4 is a factor. That's one of the factors. Awesome. And that also means that I know that 4 is a 0, because I just changed the sign, right? So I gotta keep on going. The quotient will be the leftover numbers here. 3, 10, and 8. That was x3, so this is going to go down to an x2. That will be an x1, and that will be an x0. So 3x squared plus 10x plus 8. Now it says to use the quotient, right, to find the other ones. So we need to factor this, okay? When the number in the front is not 1, can you divide everything by 3? No, that doesn't work. So what do you have to do next? You can either do quadratic formula or the advanced factoring. I'm going to do advanced factoring, right? So 3 multiply the 8. So we got x squared. I should probably bring this down. Hold on. No, I want to copy that. Cut it out of the way. Move it over here. Okay. X squared plus 10x. 3 times 8 is 24. Two numbers that multiply to give me 24, but add to give me 10. Right, we're looking for the numbers that multiply to give you 24, but add to give you 10. That's 6 and 4. But don't forget, since you multiplied by 3, you gotta divide by 3. 6 over 3, that's gonna end up giving us x with a positive 2. And then right here, you can't divide that, so the 3 goes in the front, right? So that becomes a 3x plus 4. So what are these? Those are the remaining factors. I can write them over here in my factor spot. X plus 2 and 3x plus 4. And then find the zeros. Minus 4 went to positive 4. A positive 2 is going to go to a negative 2. And then you got to change 3x plus 4 to the last one, which is negative 4 over 3. In case you're wondering how I did that, just in case you're like, what? How did he do that? I don't want you confused, right? You do 3x plus 4 equals 0. Subtract the 4. 3x equals negative 4. And then I divide it by 3. Okay. And now x equals negative 4/3. That's how I got negative 4/3, okay? And there you go. We did quotient, we did factored form, we had to use some of our tricks from the previous notes, and then I found all the zeros by switching the factors, right? And then that's it. And that should be it for the notes here. There's more than 6 questions on your assignment, but I think with these notes, you should be able to do the entire assignment, to be honest. Okay? If you need help, send me a message on Remind.